So we do have these materials, which has been numeral cutouts from 0 to 9, and they're all mounted on a green cardboard. We will not be introducing 0 at the beginning, but only after the spindle boxes are being used, we start using this material, right? So that was one of my way that I would be introducing this spindle box material for my students. Now, what do I do later over here? Once I'm aware that I would be introducing this to my students, I would start working on what I could say, tracing to children, because we need definitely tracing, right? So we'll have to be working on the simple finger grip for students so that they find motor skill is also getting really effective on working on this exercise. Okay. So is everybody joined? Yes. Lovely. So yeah, from there, I would move towards how well I can introduce my students to work on the tracing conceptuals. So I pick up the simple 1, 2, 3 or any one in random. I can pick those materials in random. I can start tracing them. Okay. So once I start tracing, what happens here? How do I start tracing? I go like I pick a card, I trace on that number and I say this is 1. Then I can trace on the number 2 and I can say this is number 2, correct? So this is what the teacher is going to help me to work on it. So I call this as the way that I have to be working on my presentation. Okay. So how do we present, guys? Everybody is there, right? So how do I present it over here? I pick up my conceptuals. I tell children that children, this is sandpaper numbers. I go to that respective place and I start telling them. So similar to how I did. So I bring the material, I sensitize my fingers, I take the number 1 and I trace on the number 1. Then I will ask the child to repeat. Then I will keep it on the table. I will repeat the same for number 2 and 3. Then I will teach with my 3-period lesson. Should I continue with 4, 5, 6? Definitely yes. Then with my 7, 8, 9. These are my steps. Clear? What is the first thing? We sensitize our fingers. Sensitize your fingers. Trace on number 1. How do I trace it? I trace on number 1. If this is number 1, I trace number 1. Then I say this is 1. I will give it to the child by keeping it on the table. The child also tries to trace it. Then I have number 2. I go with the directions and I trace number 2 on that cardboard itself. So how do I trace on the cardboard, guys? So how do I trace? I go here. I trace on this. This is number 1. Then I use my 2 fingers and I trace on number 2. Then I would trace on my number 3 using my fingers. And I say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Each time that we do tracing, the direction at which you are tracing has to be important. So this is the right one. What if the child is tracing in a reverse way? This is wrong. So we don't encourage the child to draw anything in the alternative directions because it doesn't help me to work on my handwriting skills. So using my sandpaper numbers, I am not only helping the child to recognize the numbers, but at the same time, I help them to remember the motor skill development of how to write any particular number, right from 1 to 9 only. We don't have 10 here. It's only numbers from 1 to 9. You will teach them. So by the end of this material, what happens? Your child knows how to write numbers from 1 to 9 because you have taught them tracing. This is the use of this material that we are going to be introducing. What is the purpose of it? Why do we do that, guys? Now you know. You tell me, why do we do this exercise? You all know.
Symbol tracing.
Yes, you want the child to work on tracing. So the purpose, which is direct, is like, I want my child to learn the symbol. Symbol is nothing but how it looks. So you should now be remembering this term symbol because people might not say numbers. So number, I know this is number 2, but how is a symbol? It looks like this. It is half curved like this and then there is a sleeping line. So that's the symbol for the number 2. So you are providing the children the symbol of how a number can be written. So this is the purpose of it. Now, can the child go wrong? Do we have an error of control? Can they go wrong? Definitely yes. So when the child is not introduced to something called as the exact way of tracing, the tracing itself can be a difficult thing. So the guide at which you are teaching the child, that itself can go wrong. What could be my age? Maybe from 2.5, 3 years, you can begin introducing this concept to your child. Okay, so this was my first and the second material. So my first material is number rods. I teach numbers 1 to 10 to count. There are multiple stages on that. So the child is very much aware in counting. My second exercise is I show the children how to write those numbers. So it's easy for me. Now in the third exercise, I want to associate. Okay. Now what do I do? My learning from here is like, I know my symbols. Okay. So my learning was I know quantity now. Correct? Quantity from what to what? 1 to 10, I know. I know the quantity from 1 to 9. I have learned counting also. And I know to arrange them in sequence. So that means I have arranged everything in ascending order, where I have numbers written like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this was in ascending order, right? So I showed them also like how the numbers was transcending. Now, if I'm writing backwards, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, children know it is descending order. Some of the schools, they teach ascending and descending also when they're introducing number rods, but some of the schools, they don't. But you have to know about it. Now, what are the other concepts that I can teach over here is like, I can teach them what is the missing number in this particular sequence, right? So I can also say that like 1 dash 3 dash 5 6 7 8 9 dash 10. At the beginning, don't give dashes for the beginning number and the ending number. Give very few, and then alternatively you can add on to more number of numbers. Okay, so this was all your learning. So by these two materials itself, you should have been able to work in your classes for all of that. Not only that, you can also work on match the following. Match the quantity to the number, match the number to the number. The child should be able to match all of that. So this will give them a real knowledge on identification of not only numbers, but also the quantity and the relationship between both of them. Okay. So the child now knows arranging of quantity to a number. For example, how do I work? I have 2 apples. I have 2 number written here. I have 3 trees. So I know the quantity to count, know how the symbol looks. Now I'm giving a relationship. Okay, this is 3. 3 looks like this. This is 2. So 2 looks like this. So in your writable conceptuals, you always put it in this way. This helps me. Now in my third exercise, note down. In my next exercise, what do I do here? In my next exercise, I am working on associating a number to the quantity. Now here is where Now, next is your exercise 3. Please note down. It's called your number rods and cards. Note down. Number rods and cards. The presentation is simply going to be the same thing. You should have numbers and you should also have number rods. Okay. Number rods will be from what to what, guys? You will have number rods from 1 to 10. You will also need a floor mat. Same material, the previous material only. But this time I will have cards also for the students to actually take it. So what I do here is I will have to have my entire number rods. But apart from that, I should also have something which is related to my cards. Now, how many cards I will have? 1 to 10 also I should have card. Like say this is my number 1. and this is number 2. This is 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So I will have cards from 1 to 10. I will also have rods from 1 to 10. So what you need to do here is like you will need how many floor mats you need now? You need 2 floor mats, one small mat wherein I keep all those individual cards, one mat wherein I'm going to keep all my rods there. Now what you do here is like when you come back here, you check the first rod. This is my first rod. So what is the number I have to pick? I have to pick this number and I have to keep it right here. Then I have to take this rod and I have to place it here. So this is my third exercise wherein you're trying to associate your number to your respective material. Okay, so this is how you would present my third. So wherein I have my cards and I also have this. But this also comes under a variation. And what is my variation? My variation lies in the way that I would be arranging this. I can either arrange my cards vertically or I can arrange my cards horizontally. Now just see, this is vertical, right? So what can I do? Okay, this is 1, 2, 3. And this is like, so what is my number? What is this number? I count 1, 2, 3. So I keep the card 3. This is 4. So I keep the card 4. So you can actually explore. So you can either arrange the rods vertically or you can arrange the rods horizontally. Okay. So this is your first exercise. Apart from that, yes. Somebody called me? Okay. Now, apart from that, in my stage B, what I do here, this is my first presentation. So numbers randomly I pick, I associate. Now, what I can do with this is you have to remember we can also do a couple of other things. What do I do here is like I can do addition. What do? I do addition using this material. Can I do addition using this material? Can I do addition? So, yes, yes, we can do. So what do we do here is we have to use your number rod and you have to show how to perform addition using that. How well this material shows is like, my goodness, it's such a beautiful one. Let me show you a glimpse of it. Number rod addition, right? So we can always give them the problem statements and the child might actually use. Now see, you can use a small number rod or you can use a large number rod also. So how can we do this exercise? What is my material that is required for me? Let me give you a glimpse of it. Okay. So please take a look here. So I have my number rods. I have taken 2 sets of it. Why have I taken 2 sets? Or can I take 1 set? It's up to us. Now I have to work on problem statements. So I have to keep some numbers over here. So I keep a numbers also in my ball. Now suppose if I pick up any quantity from the first set. What is the quantity in the first set that we have picked? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is 8. So what makes an 8? When the teacher asks a question, what makes an 8? So 6 plus 2 makes an 8. Okay. So let's pick up 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus what else? What else I need? I need 2. So I do it with what? I see how many are remaining. 2 are remaining. So 6 plus 2 makes an 8. Now this is my small number rods. But we have a large number rods also. So we can use to introduce operations to children of plus and equal to. So you can say 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. So this is how you are getting into simple arithmetic using my number rods and cuts. So likewise, I can also make a tabulation wherein I can ask them what makes an 8. Now, everybody note down, when I give you what makes an 8, what do we work over here? What do we work over here? What makes an 8? I have to tabulate. What do I tabulate? What do I tabulate? So I have to have my addition table chart. Okay. So I start making my addition table chart and then we start writing it down also. So I can say what makes a 10, what makes a 9, what makes an 8, what makes a 7, what makes a 6, like that, what makes a 5, what makes a 4, what makes a 3. So what makes a 10? Everybody tell me. 9 plus
1.
1.
9
1.
plus 1 makes a 10. Then we have 8
8
plus 2
plus
makes a 10. Yes. 7 plus 3 makes a 10. Then 6 plus 4
6
makes a
plus
10.
4.
And then we do have 5 plus
5,
5.
4, 5.
Go reverse, right? You go reverse. See, the first addend can be different. So 4 plus 6 makes a 10. Again, I have my 3 plus 7 makes a 10. Then I can go on and on. Okay, so I have to fill this table of what makes a 10. The question for you could be like, with the help of addition, I'm sorry, with the help of number rods, demonstrate the addition table of what makes an 8. So then what do? You write this table, only what makes an 8. First, you will tabulate everything. You write what makes an 8, and then you would use your number rods. Then you can say my 7 plus 1. So I would have my 7 plus 1 rod makes an 8. Then my 6 plus 2 makes an 8. Okay, you start making in the same way. Clear? All of you? Now,
Yes.
can I also use subtraction? Can I also do subtraction with this? Definitely, yes. So that's my next operation of where I would also introduce subtraction to my students. Okay. So please note down, everybody. We also use subtraction to introduce the concept. Okay. Now, how do you introduce subtraction? I have, say, number 8. I have to take away, say, 2, 1 and 2. So I keep the 8th rod over here. Sorry, 8th rod. Then I have to take the 2 rod over there. And then I have to subtract from there. And I say, this is what is remaining. And how do we work on that exercise? It's as simple as this one. Okay. So let me show you how do we work on the number rod subtraction with the help of our number rod cards. Okay. So we can use anything. Now say suppose in case if somebody asks me, Divya ma'am, I don't have a number rod material. How can I do that? Okay. Not everybody or every school might follow Montessori, right? So in case if they don't have it, you can do it yourself. So you can make these strips, okay, using your chart papers, and you can start cutting them out in this particular way. And you have rods from 1 to 10, and then you can use it for subtraction. Now, say for example, if I have 8, I know what makes an 8. It is 6 plus 2, which makes, and then so many other numbers that we actually have it. Now, once this is all there, you can start working on your subtraction. Okay. Say, suppose if at all, if I have any one of the material, take any number. And if you want to take away something from that, say if you pick this one, or if you want to take your, what makes, count them together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of 10, if you remove 2, so how many you will have? If I remove 2, I will have only 8 more. If I remove 2 from the 10, I will have how many? I will have 8 only. Now I can say out of this particular, go to the next one. Now you have again your 10. From the 10, if you remove 6, how much will be there? It will only be 4. Okay. Likewise, you can start working on it. So this is also 10. Now I can remove 10 minus what? So again, you're following a table of 10 minus 1 is what, 10 minus 2 is what, 10 minus 3 is what, 10 minus 4 is what, 10 minus 5 is what. So whatever would be your numbers, you will start taking out from that particular number. Again, I have 10, which is like 7 plus 3 makes a 10. Now you are saying 10 minus 3 is how much? 10 minus 3 is my 7, right? So that is my 7. So the child will start writing the answer as 7. Now you can also have 9 plus 1 making my 10. Now you can again question back saying, okay, I have this. So my problem can be, which can be related to like 10 minus 9 is what also, right? So likewise, you can also work on subtraction with the help of Montessori cards. You can either use a material or you can go with the DIYs of those particular materials also. So this covers your first, second, and third exercises. Now the question is, we have only learned numbers from 1 to 9. Now the next question is like, should I be introducing number 0? Now to introduce number 0, we have to work on a material called spindle box. Okay, what is the material? Please note down. The next material that I have to be introducing in my class is related to spindle box. Okay, so spindle box is one of the Montessori math material which we introduce to introduce the concept of 0 to children. So how does it look? What does it look like? And how many spindles does it have is a question that we will have to be looking at. Okay, so everybody please see my board. I would be sharing you that. So this is my spindle box. Note down. Okay, so this is our spindle box. This is how it actually looks like. Now, if at all, if I have to explain it to you, I want you to closely observe this. Okay. So there are numbers which is written on this. And what are the numbers which is written? 0 to 9.
9.
0 to 9 are the numbers. So how many spindles it will have?
5.
45 spindles. What is a spindle first of all? So these are the spindles, the individual pieces over here. Na? These are all the spindles. And why do I say a box? Because the spindles, I'm putting it into my box. So if you see, how many boxes do I have? This is my first box. This is my second box. So I will have two boxes. Okay.
Yes.
If you have a textbook, please underline. But do the boxes are of the same size? Yes. They're of the same size. And now you tell me how many compartments it has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each box has 5 compartments. If you see, I have 10 compartments. Now tell me what numbers have been written 0 to 9. What is the color of that numbers? The symbols are all in black color.
Black color, yes.
Now I have to take another tray or I have to use another container wherein I am going to keep all my spindles in that. Okay. I will have to keep all my spindles in this. How many spindles will I have to keep is a big question. I have to only keep 45 spindles, not more than that, not less than that. Exactly 45 spindles is what I have to keep. Not only that, I have to also keep 8 ribbons with that. Why 8 ribbons? We will see. Because every time that I say number 5, I will tie up 5 rods together with a ribbon or with the elastic band. When it is 9, I will tie this 9 of them together. So anytime somebody asks me, give me 9, I can give that bundle. If they ask me, give me 6, I can give that particular bundle. So this helps me to work on my compartments. Now, how do I present this to my students is my next question that I have to be working on. How do I present it, guys? Tell me, how do I present it? What is a drill? You always invite children. You will say to them, children, I am going to introduce you to a material. The name of the material is spindle box. You take them where it is being placed. Okay, so you show them exactly where it is placed. So I can take my student to the shelf and I tell them and I help them to carry it over to my table. Once the child knows how to carry, I show them, look at the compartments, children, and the child should see. Can you identify the numbers on that? You check whether the child knows the numbers or not. If the child knows the numbers, very good. What as a teacher you will do, you will start to point out to each of those numbers. Tell me what number is this? Tell me what number is this? And the child is good to go. Now you tell to the children, okay, these we have to be putting it into the respective compartments. Now say if I have to take number 1, the child looks at that number 1, the child takes 1 spindle and the child puts it into that box. Now say if I have to take one more for number 2, I take 2 spindles I count 2 spindles. And where should I be putting? I should be putting to this container. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I respectively put to each one of them into their individual perspectives. What is the use of doing this exercise?
Okay.
You put to all the number correctly. Now, what if I have put more? Sometimes the children are in a hurry, no? The children are always in hurry, right? So what they can do here is like they might put more. Say for example, in this container, if at all if I have, I can put for 5. Okay, if the number is 5, I can put 6 here. 3, 4, 5, 6 by mistake. When I come to my 9th compartment, since I had only 45 spindles, when I'm counting 9, I will have only 8. 7, 8. Where is the 9th one? The child will not have a spindle because the child has already put one extra here. They will not have. So when the child puts something extra, or when the child does not put something, you will either have less spindles or you will have more spindles when you come down to number 9. When that is encountered, it is considered to be the error. Okay, that's considered to be the error of control. And you have to redo your exercise. Okay? Okay, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that covers my spindle box. Now you come to the last one here. Now you had only that. Now see here, 0. We have put nothing on
Yes.
0. There's nothing here. So the child understands 0 means nothing, and the teacher reinforces we have not put anything over here because this is relating to 0. Okay, so we reiterate to the child and say 0 means nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, so that helps me to work on this concept of my spindle box. The next material, everybody, please note down. It's called cards and counters. What is it called? It's called the cards and counters. We have learned the number 1 to 10 so far. We have also learned the number 0, correct? So after learning the number 0, what is the next thing that I have to learn is I have to learn the concept of odd number and even number. So when I have to introduce odd numbers and even numbers, I have to use a material called cards and counters. What material is it called? It is called cards and counters. Now, how does this cards and counters look like? This is a small box that I would have something like this. And it will have tiny red counter materials into it. Okay. Now, if you see here, I will have many cards here. Did you notice we have cards here? How many cards I will have? 1 to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I will have symbols 1 to 10 like that. And I will have 55 counters. Now this is important. So you have to only keep 55 counters here. It should not be more. It should not be less. 55 counters only should be there. Now what you do here is like you will arrange the numbers in sequence. Like this, you will arrange all your numbers in sequence. And then for each of the card, you have to place your counters. Okay. Now this is 1, you keep 1 counter. This is 2, so you keep 2 counters. This is 3, so you keep 3. This is 4, you keep 4. But the only thing is like, you can't keep number 2 here like this. One below the other. It has to go horizontal. Number 3, you can't go here because it has to come down. I can either keep here or I can keep here. Now, when I draw a line is where I will know for each of those material, whether it's an even number or an odd number. Now, let's see for number 3, if I draw a line using my finger, this circle has a counter. Now, what about this one? Does it have a counter? No, it does not have a counter. When any of these beads don't have a counter, it is considered to be as an odd number. Now see your number 4. Try to draw a line between this counter has a counter. This counter has a counter. Both of them have counters. So this is my even number. Now see for your number 5. This has a counter, this has a counter, but this, it does not have a counter. So that becomes my odd number. Okay, so you can take any number and you can introduce even numbers and odd numbers onto it. Okay, so that covers our first part of our math exercise, which is numbers from 0 to 10. So what are all the materials that we did? What are the 5 exercises? Can somebody tell me? The first one was?
Number rods.
First one
Number
was
rods.
number rods.
Horizontal.
Second one was Sandy numbers.
Sandy
Third
Sandy
one is our
number rods and rods.
number rods
Rods.
plus cards. What can we do here using this? We can
Spindle box.
count, we can show numbers, we can add, we can subtract. So you should know this. You can make a table of addition, you can make a table of subtraction. After that, we do what? We work on spindle boxes.
Spindle box.
A spindle box, I have to introduce the concept of 0. So how many spindles I have? 45 spindles.
45
How is it
spindles.
45 spindles? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus
5
6
plus
plus
6
7
plus
plus
7
8
plus
plus
8
9
plus 9.
to 45 spindles. Okay, this is all plus. Okay, sorry. So all of them are spindles. So it has numbers from 1 to 9, no? The spindles. So that's the reason it is this. Next, to introduce the even and the odd numbers, we have something called as cards and counters. Now they have 55 counters. How is it 55? It's again 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9
Plus
plus
10.
plus
10.
10. That equals to my 55 counters. And why do I use these cards and counters? To introduce my even and odd numbers. Okay, so these are the 5 numbers, 5 sets of material we use to introduce numbers from 1 to 10. This is your first section. For sure, 2 questions will come from this. They can ask you any question. With the help of spindle box, how do you introduce the concept of 0? With the help of cards and counters, tell me if the number 5 is even or odd. With the help of number rods and cards, show me a simple addition of what makes or a addition table of 10. So in case of addition, subtraction table of 10, what do? 10 minus 1 is what? 10 minus 2 is what? 10 minus 3 is what? 10 minus 4 is what? You have to make that chart and you have to present it. Okay. So that helps me to work on my number systems. Okay. So these are the possible questions you might actually get it. So Revati, you can note down these questions because these are very standard questions. And sandpaper numbers, yes, it's pretty straightforward. With the help of sandpaper numbers or Sandy numbers, introduce with the help of 3-period lesson, how would you introduce the symbols to children? Okay, with the help of number rods, how would you introduce the quantity of 1 to 10 to children? Demonstrate using a 3-period lesson. So randomly you can pick some of the numbers and you can also position and place it. So this covers my numbers from 1 to 10. Any doubts in the first 5 materials, guys?
No,
We're good to go. I think we are.
No, ma'am.
It is pretty straightforward. So just remember the names of the exercise, what you will introduce. Okay. So when you're putting everything, when you're reading also, you should always divide your exercises into 3 parts. Okay. So even when you're making notes, I want everybody to do for your revisions in this way. Okay. So if at all, if it is number rods from 1 to 10, how many rods it will have? You should know how the materials would look like. Make a simple one. So it will have red and blue compartments. Okay. And what is the other key thing? The shortest rod is always red. Okay. And you should also remember the arrangement. Always red has to be there. So you can't have a blue rod for number 2. So that's the error of control. You got me? So the first rod, if at all, if I have it like, this is my first rod and this is in my color red. My second rod, no? Second rod is what color?
blue. Blue.
Red
Blue.
and blue.
Yeah,
Red
it
and
is
blue.
my red. It is my
And blue.
Uh-huh.
Red and blue. Red and blue.
Yes, red and blue. Let me draw itself. Okay, so the first part, it has to be red. The first part has to be red, and the second part has to be blue. Okay, you can't put blue and the red. You can't turn this. That's the error of control. So this is what you remember. And what is the purpose? Why do we do that? Also, you have to remember. Okay, so why do we do this? What is the purpose of doing this exercise, guys? You know, the child will
Sequence
learn
of
some numbers from 1 to 10.
sequence
They
of
learn about the sequence. They learn sequence. And that is something that you will
quantity.
have to be quantity. You will work correct.
No quantity.
Yes. So you are teaching them quantity, all of that. So that's the purpose. So anytime you're making your study, so just imagine the picture of it. What is the material? What is the quantity material looks like? And what is the purpose of it? Then you will start to make your own presentation. Like spindle box, okay, I have to teach 0. So maybe I have to have rubber bands. Maybe I have to have all of that. Now I will show you why rubber bands have to be kept. You know, most of them might be asking why she said rubber bands or ribbons. What is the purpose of having all of that, right? So your spindle box with ribbons or rubber bands, we can actually put, okay? So it's pretty simple. The presentation, you should be very, very slow in presenting, okay? So never be in a hurry, because that's the good time that you would be able to get it, okay? So you collect all your spindles in a tray. So if you see here, all your spindles are collected here, and you have your spindle box, and very neatly is what you will arrange all of them. Looking at the quantity is what you're going to be placing each one of them, okay? So if you don't have spindles, because not everybody would have, you can use ice cream sticks to present, and you can color code them also, okay? So these are some of the DIYs. You can use it to help your children to work on your spindle box conception. So we have a DIY. At the same time, we do have something which can be related to each one of them, okay? So be very slow when you're trying to put each of them, and even keeping back those material is also important. Why it is important is not only that you arrange everything and you position it, but we should also be able to keep it back also in the same fashion. Okay, so I go very slow. I would be introducing each one of them. The teacher can collect the quantity in the hand and then put it 1, 2, 3, 4, but never take collectively like this and put. You should always go slow in putting. So when I have a quantity, the next stage is like 6. I can use a rubber band. I can put a rubber band, and also I can keep it. So some of them they introduce by putting rubber bands, but some of them they will not introduce by putting rubber band. But your book as an AMI guideline tells you have to put a rubber band or tie it with a ribbon, and then put that specific quantity into each of those compartments. So this is our spindle box material. Okay. Now the child is advised to see, children, we did not put anything into the compartment 0. That means 0 has nothing. So 0 means nothing. Now you place back everything. See, you show them. You reinforce. I don't have anything in 0. Again, recount. Okay, so let's take 1, 2, 3. I have my 3. So the way that you keep, the way you keep it back is also important. So why should you keep it back? So that the material is ready for the next child to do. The next child need not take everything back and then put it. The child who has completed it should remove everything and take it. So I have almost 30 seconds more for this meeting. So we can disconnect and we can join back for the doubt clearing session. In the next 20 minutes, I would extend for your doubts. Okay. So please reconnect back.